So this came out, I think, 8 minutes ago, and they are reporting live from BCH4. I was wondering if we were going to get a COD podcast for season 3. So far, information-wise, what came out on Twitter, new weapons. I think it's the Kilo AMAX Kali sticks, and it is launching one day early. It's launching on April 2nd for Black Ops 6 and April 3rd for Warzone, I think is what's going on. But we're going to skip through many parts of this, but we're going to get through this thing.
Miles, you should have just let me fly.
I got this.
This is not how I want to go to the gulag.
I've got this. I'm an excellent pilot.
First we've seen of TV station, by the way.
Got a parachute just in case. Hold on.
We're
Nearly.
gonna be late for COD POD.
There it is.
Atlas Supermarkets, supplying all of Verdansk's needs. This week only, parachutes 50% off. You'd be crazy to miss out on this deal. Use at your own discretion.
Wait. Did I miss anything in that? Verdansk Gulag Champions 5th anniversary, Warzone 7 Survival Tactics, Tea Time Mysteries of Verdansk, episode 10 Graveyard. Interesting.
Parachutes 50% off. You'd be crazy to miss out on this deal. Use at your own discretion.
2 enter, but only one will be victorious. No holds barred Gulag action live. Tune in Sunday on Verdansk LA. Jumping back in, let's go!
Not a bad intro.
Hello and welcome back to the COD Pod, the official Call of Duty podcast. It's been a while, Steph.
It has been a while. We've been busy. You've been traveling all over the world for Call of Duty League. We've been working hard in the, to launch season 3. Time is almost here.
Look at the background.
COD Pod back.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an awesome start to the this season of the CDL Black Ops 6. It's treating us right, but very, very excited to be here. Back with the pod, back here at TV Station, because that's right,
TV
folks.
Station.
Big Verdansk flavor this episode.
The fact that they have switched the podcast scenery like 6 times and have had like 5 podcasts is insane.
Verdansk energy. So we had to take a POI that we know and love and bring it to life for the pod, and it's kind of cozy in here.
Absolutely. It's quite warm as well. We've got a powerful LED screen behind us, which will be displaying all sorts of fun stuff, especially for you listeners.
Yeah,
especially for you
it's
guys.
just for you guys. But we've got a monster of an episode today. We've got lots of guests and some incredible intel on season 3 of Warzone and Black Ops 6.
Absolutely. Headlines include Verdansk is back.
Interesting thing, we have not seen anything about season 3 for multiplayer yet. Nothing.
Which I am personally very, very excited about. Right back to 2020 we go. We're also going to revisit the origins of Verdansk and how Warzone came to life with Infinity Ward. Some stories from inside the belly of the beast. It's the promise the pod has always offered.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to IW about where this all started, but
so they're
also
talking to IW
talk
about
to Raven and
the
Beanox
beginning
about
of it,
how we got here.
That's
to
not who
season
made the
3
new
and
one.
Bringing Verdansk back and some of the incredible work that's been done, some of the exciting gameplay and quality of life changes that are coming to season 3. And
shout out the devil, thank you for the 7 months, dude.
And that is something that is very exciting to me.
Absolutely, really, really excited to look back and forward. Plus, the mailbag is back. I'm going to put you on the spot, Steph, with some burning questions.
Oh no!
We've seen it out in the world, to make sure you stick around to the end of the show for those mailbag questions.
And I have props for today's show, so you always know that news is going to hit. Oh no!
Speaking of props, I'm glad you brought this up. At the end of the last episode,
100 subs was 41 months from RPG.
I did.
Legend.
So what I thought I would do is I would use your staff discount at the COD shop to grab you some
Are they really doing an ad right now?
sweet gear to
Verdansk
celebrate.
swag.
Yeah, to celebrate
The
the
hat's
launch
dope.
of Verdansk.
Amazing.
We got a great sweater here going on. Look, Verdansk.
Okay, can we
I love
skip?
that.
Take a trip back home.
Okay, special
And-
guests. We're skipping.
Oh,
we're going to
thrilled
skip
to
things.
welcome in Jack O'Hara and Mark Grigsby, studio heads at Infinity Ward. Gentlemen, welcome to the...
So this is wild. This is actually wild because they are not currently working on Verdansk. They are working on Modern Warfare 4. And Griggs is set to be one of the main characters in it based off of the leaks. So he's now the studio head at Infinity Ward, which I actually didn't know until quite literally right now. And Jack O'Hara, I'm not as familiar with him.
The COD Pod, very excited to have you here today to reel back the clock, look back at Warzone. Very, very excited. I mean, where did it all start with Verdansk?
I mean, this was a long, long time ago in, 2017? Something like that. When we started first talking about it.
Oh, when they started talking about it.
And at the time, there was a bunch of games coming out that were kind of big open space, and the genre was kind of taking off.
You can just say Fortnite.
That's when we first started having the conversations about it, and a lot of it for us was, how do we go from making these corridor-based shooters almost to this wide open space, and how are we going to get there? So that's kind of where we started, and then it was a long journey of developing the technology to be able to do it, which is always the fun and terrifying thing of like, you can't play the thing yet, but I promise you it's right there.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
We promise.
Yeah. And so, I remember things like us starting off with one of the first POIs to be laid out was kind of the Verdansk airport. And then
It looks
from
damn
there,
good.
It was like, hey, let's lay this out. It works in the tools, but we can't actually see it in game kind of thing, because we were just breaking all.
Yeah, I think we're going to get the blog post today, Skill Issue. The fact that this is coming out now at like 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it tells me that probably today we're going to get like blog post roadmap sort of thing. I would guess around noon or 1. So hopefully we'll be streaming for the whole thing.
All the limits to get to where we could actually play in these much bigger, much more open spaces. And then eventually we focused in on an apartment block, and we were like, hey, we're gonna look like what our art fidelity is like in that space. And that was one of our big pushes. And then how are we gonna do the kind of more organic terrain all around this? So those were all some of our early gates that we went through, was to kind of prove out these little moments and make little vertical slices of these to kind of show them off.
So let's take a step back. So all the while this is happening, you guys are also actively developing and then shipping Modern Warfare
2019. Yeah,
and you decide.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop in with new news as it pops up on Twitter, because things just keep coming. So this was tweeted from Call of Duty. Thank you, Fat Joe, for sending this one over. Season 3 of Black Ops 6 will be dropping early on April 2nd with a 24-hour free trial. So to get people into play. During that time, Call of Duty Warzone will go offline in preparations for the launch of Verdansk. Thank God they're doing that. Anyone who opens Call of Duty Warzone game menu during that time will receive the Kilo 141 for free. They're putting a cutscene on during that. Because why would they want you to open the game menu for Warzone? They're hiding something in that. Like, for sure, 100%. April 2nd, going to be a big day. Going to be a big day. I'm kind of excited for that. That's kind of dope.
You know what this game also needs is a battle royale.
We're fine with our game. We need some more, struggles.
This is like a passion project.
Right.
We were actually, very on schedule for 2019. It was one of the more on-time projects.
Outcome.
And then,
Train go.
Midwest Dipper, thank you for the 1,000 bits and getting that hype train going, you legend.
let's make this a real
You know
challenge.
what wouldn't hurt?
Let's
We
make
ship
big giant
a
map.
battle royale.
Battle
Yeah.
royale, right.
So what was the initial thing?
They didn't ship it
that
at launch,
when you
though.
look back at Warzone, when you set out to make it those years before in development, you said this is what's going to set it apart. This is a Call of Duty battle royale. What was sort of the core DNA?
I think Verdansk would be a part of the Black Ops 6 story. I don't know.
Project?
Well, the gunplay in general needs to be on point from that Call of Duty experience.
Yep.
That was one of the biggest things that we focused on for 2019 Modern Warfare. So that traveling over into the battle royale portion, like the guns are just, I still say it to this day, best guns in the industry, and just having that just nonstop throughout.
He
the
literally
entire
said that to us when I went to the
process
studio in
developing
2019. That is what he said. I think word for word.
unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched.
The feel of the weapons in 2019, in Warzone, definitely like Hall of Fame status for us.
Indeed, I'll pat myself on the back because I was part of it. No, it was really awesome.
I just got to play it, which I'm also very grateful for. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're always looking, like, one, we wanted to be Call of Duty, and then the second thing is we're always looking at even when we started this, it's like, what is going to be our special version of it? What is going to be special about what we're doing, and what are the elements that are going to make it, resonate with our audience and our players, and how we're going to do that. So that's just a constant debate.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the
conversation.
first thing that comes to mind when I think about that is the gulag, right? Because that was something that we had. That was like the hallmark thing for me the first time.
Midwest, thank you for the gifted sub, dude.
You know, this respawn mechanic that's super interesting.
Let's
How
get
did
the
that
train going.
enter the conversation?
Appreciate you, Gully.
I mean, it was basically like we were all playing these games, and it was, you know, these types of games. And one of the most brutal things is you just die and bam, that's it.
It's over.
And
yeah.
I'm back at the main menu, and I'm like, you guys still there?
Yeah.
How's it
You want
going?
to play
How's it
again?
going?
Yeah.
Are you winning?
Like thinking about it, the gulag was a revolutionary thing for
going on when we were playing
the game as a whole. It made other battle royales add in things, ways to come
give
back.
a second chance, and it should be mano a mano, like just in the gulag.
1v1 me.
That's so COD. That's so COD.
And then somebody threw out, I forget who threw out the idea of like, it should just be the original gulag from the original Modern
Whoever
Warfare.
thought of that idea,
Like,
brilliant.
That's the spot.
That's the thing.
That's so good.
I've heard so much about how this map came to be, and every little tidbit, I'm like, just want to soak it all up.
This
like,
is gonna be cool.
How did it all start?
I mean, it started with that designer just kind of laying out what
Airport.
we couldn't even
The hype is
run,
real, boys.
You know what I mean?
Thank you,
And it
Midwest,
was kind
dude.
of started off on the kind of northern end with the airport, and then trying to figure out how the building blocks would work, and then we started
Oh
throwing
no
in,
way!
like,
This has never been seen before. This has never been seen before. So pre-alpha footage. So they build out the building blocks here, and then they like layer it on top. That is cool.
downtown and just kind of evolving like what is in this space. It was a lot of trying to lay out a holistic map that felt like a real place and had correct, transitions between the spaces. That's one of the hardest.
New news that we'll see throughout this is the classic helicopters coming back, which was a leak. All the classic contracts are making a return. With some more details to come as well.
Things I think
Oh,
fast.
Omni movement is there, but it has been redefined for Warzone.
All the city planning.
New movement.
The city planning, but it's got to make sense. And each area had its kind of unique challenges, from like downtown's density was definitely pushing it. That's why in some places you see like parking lots or little, military storage is because like that's one building too many. So let's convert that to a parking
How to use
lot.
my tax return
And that's a
somewhere.
challenge because then you got
Thanks,
to make
Midwest.
it look natural.
This is all work that had never been done before on this scale, right?
For us, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just, we'd done it at smaller scales, but doing it at this massive scale for us was definitely new challenges and new limits to be pushed.
In MW19 alone, like Arklov Peak, a big map.
Yeah.
A very, very big map.
Yeah.
By COD standards. But this is next level.
So I have to ask this for both
No
of you.
redeploy balloons.
What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite POI? Either like a story from development that you remember. We talked about airport a little bit as one of the first building blocks, but when you look
Confirmed, by the way.
back, or even as a player, like, is there somewhere that you're just like, that's it for me?
As a developer, for me, downtown was really, really cool.
Yeah, that makes
It
sense.
was having some
right?
issues when we were developing it for
Love it. Love it. Thank you for the 10 gifted, Gully Boy. The hype train is going wild here. But yeah, from development standpoint, it makes sense for downtown.
we shipped with like I think we had a bunch of crashes and some crazy things. So we all for several nights would go and go to like the middle of the downtown.
Midwest, you mad
Throw
lad.
grenades to try to find the crash, right? It was wild for like several hours. We're just throwing grenades in the middle, but it gave like awesome memories of like how cool that downtown area was. You would like start at one end and run all the way to the middle and then start throwing grenades.
Jack, what about you?
I mean, definitely downtown, but I can't say it now because he said it.
What are some of the other things
just
that,
cut out his
that we should
actual
know
answer.
about the making of downtown?
I mean, we just flew through that plume of smoke, which was a source of great debate because we wanted to show that this city had been hit. And so we wanted to have that big plume of smoke to go through there to kind of draw your
smart
eye
idea.
towards that city center. So,
All right, what do we have down here?
For us, it
Warzone
was like,
memories.
how do we try and
Jesus. Gully Boy with another 10 gifted, you mad lads. Okay, so we have favorite POIs. They clearly talk about prison, Warzone memories. Anthony coming in with the 5 months. We have technical challenges. Okay, here we go. This is the part that I want to listen to.
Technical challenges that existed from building such a big map. for the first time at IW. When you look back at some of the challenges that you faced, what were those like, and how did the team come together to kind of make that happen in the end?
There was so many to talk
Yeah.
through. But there was the challenges of making the map, running in frame, making it look as good as it can, making sure play visibility
150
is
players.
good.
150.
And then after that it was like, hey, we just need to increase the number of players.
It started like 100.
Yeah.
Then 125, 150.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They also told us that they did test 200, but they said it was too fast.
Right. What the hell kind of
Dude,
name is
what are
Subs?
you doing,
How
Gully
a muppet
boy?
like you pass selection?
That's 30 gifted subs in like 30 seconds, you madman.
But our very first Battle Royale match was actually played on a completely different map called Ferrida. There was just a little compound in the middle of the desert, and that was like 12 people. And you all started in the circle, and you ran in the middle, tried to grab something.
They've never said that.
Something and survive. And we were like, oh, there's a glimmer here. It is super fun with our mechanics and our gunplay. And then it was like, okay, but now we need 48 players, and just that is a leap.
48,
beyond.
80, 100, yeah.
64.
And as you go through those, you just hit new problems. You know what I mean? Like, what if 150 players gather in one spot and you got to draw them all on screen? So, we kind of just.
Was there a moment in the studio where everyone, hey, what's going on in that room? I want to get in that game. And you're like, wow.
Faraday. Why does that sound? So they said the original map was in the desert. It was called Faraday. Why does that sound familiar?
Give us a mo. We'll increase player count. We'll figure this out.
Well, we play test. We have these pits where we play test almost every day.
Those play tests are wild.
Yeah.
Like I will say this, they're so fun. When you look back at those, what are some of like
Gregson,
the
thank you for
best
the gifted
memories
dude.
you have of those late nights play testing with
I
the
got
crew
nothing.
and getting everybody together?
Well, I mean, for me, it was the competition that you saw. Like in the beginning, I was terrible at BRs. I'd never played them, but I loved them. I was like, all right, King of the Hill. Okay, cool. That's I want to. I'm competitive, right? But the more we got into development, like you started seeing the players that would always like be at the top of the leaderboard. After a while, you started, we would play, and then you're getting better and better, and then you're starting to get into circles
Griggs.
where
That's
maybe
Midwest.
Jack and
That
maybe
is literally Griggs, like Griggs from
Nahara
Modern
would probably
Warfare.
be in.
Yeah.
And those were the
Steve,
two that will
yeah.
always be there, right? And then
He's now the studio head of Infinity
waiting
Ward.
for me, right? So, got better over time, but those are really, really fun play tests for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we first put in the circle logic, and there was no logic, and so it ended in really strange places.
Gully boy, another one, you madman.
And so I remember having fights that were just in the most bizarre of like final circumstances kind of thing. Yeah. That eventually led us to be like, okay, maybe we should.
In the recent games, Griggs was in Modern Warfare 2019 in the level where you go to the hospital.
Try and pick better endings for the circle and pre-compute them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, dynamic circles and all that.
Yeah.
So fun.
Sometimes you look at that circle and you think, there's not a lot of cover there. That's a farm field.
Yeah.
We've got some concealment of a bush or two, but like, all right, this
The
is
fact that they haven't, the fact that they haven't like put anything out there about saying like, oh, we got this idea or inspiration from Blackout is wild to me.
Well, you need the farm so you can loot.
We got anything else on Twitter?
Once it got sweaty in the
Quality of life updates for Verdansk include. Okay, let's run through this real quick. We're gonna get to this in the podcast eventually, but I'm trying to get it out to you guys as quickly as possible. So as people get through the podcast, we're getting more and more. Some quality of life updates in Warzone. Weapon Inspect now shows the attachments. Default loadouts updated to more competitive with HDR and Kilo. Buy station updates, vertical UI, dedicated button for squad buybacks. Full list in patch notes next week. Okay, so patch notes are coming next week, probably on Tuesday, I would assume. There's no redeploy balloons in Warzone. There's the classic Kilo. There is the Kilo to go with the Hilo. And then there is the everything else. I'm trying to keep you guys up to date.
playtest, and like for example, Final Circle at farm, and everybody's in houses.
In the houses, right?
Yeah.
And,
Right.
kind of thing. And at first, there was kill streaks, there was no warning of them and that kind of stuff. So you stack kill streaks and then be like prepping them for that moment. Kind of thing. So,
Good times, good times. Speaking of times, though, you build this out, you launch the game in March 2020, and then everything changes. I mean, a literal global pandemic locks everyone indoors.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it brings everyone together in a really, really sort of weird and challenging way.
Mm-hmm.
You've still got to get the game out.
Mm-hmm.
What? I mean, how did you launch it?
I mean, it was kind of a crazy
Like
time.
this?
Yeah.
In pajamas.
Right.
I mean, it was a crazy time for everyone, but we quickly got into a rhythm. We would meet.
I haven't talked about the advanced movement thing in Warzone yet because I haven't got to that section of the podcast. But yeah, that's another thing, the Omni movement. Well, later on, it's like quality of life improvements and movement. That's coming later.
Every day, we would be talking every day about like.
Okay, so we can skip this.
We'd work during the day and then we'd play at night.
We'll go to here.
All right. Well, we've looked back from whence we came, and now all eyes are on season 3 of Warzone and the new Verdansk, and we're excited to welcome
the hype train,
Pete
guys. You mad
Actipeace, a game director at Raven, and Etienne Pouliot, a creative director at Beanox. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hey.
Thank you both for joining us on COD Pod. We know you're just, a little bit busy at the moment, but Pete, you are in.
By the way, this pretty much confirms that Raven and Beanox are going to be the studio that is continuing to work on Warzone, by the way.
Wisconsin at Raven, and Etienne, you are all the way in Quebec at Beanox, and your studios have been working together very closely on season 3 with a lot of the other Call of Duty studios. What has that partnership and process been like?
Yeah, it's really been great working and collaborating with Beanox. We've had this long-standing relationship on Warzone dating all the way back to the classic 2020 experience.
Apparently, they hated working with Sledge, though.
To the table.
Apparently.
Particularly in our playtest, they are, so passionate. Like we call them demons. They really hit it hard, and we love.
Ranked play for Verdansk will launch with season 3 Reloaded update.
Just working,
keeping you guys updated
on the game.
Yeah, it's really great to work for so long with the team, with everyone inside Activision, just to have that trust, that passion, the mindset to create that Call of Duty Warzone experience that everyone is waiting for with the return of Verdansk. So again, a lot of those people were there back then and 5 years ago when the first version of Verdansk was made. So it's really great to just return to that map, make it better than ever, and just as a team making sure that this is a great experience for all the player.
That's so cool, guys. A lot of people have waited a long time for this, and we've seen the community talking about it so much over the years. Just bring it back. It's that simple, right? That you can just do that, right? We just copy and paste or whatever. Is that what it's been like, Etienne, to bring Verdansk back to life?
Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than that, but yeah.
Putting it simply, yeah.
yeah, put it in simply, but yeah, if you look at
apparently the size of the Shattered Veil, the new Zombies map, is a similar size to Citadel de Mort. So bigger
all
map.
The team together, we just rebuilt everything from the ground up from Verdansk. So we always looking back at the original version of Verdansk, but we make sure that all the small detail, we don't forget anything.
Nothing about Plunder yet, but I would assume day one.
The goal we give to the teams is just to improve and to recreate and enhance all the different assets, the terrain, the tree, the sky, the lighting. Everything is really important for them. So we're just making sure that we look at every building, and we're making sure that we remade it to a quality that we've never seen in a Warzone map. So I'm pretty sure that this is clearly the best version of Verdansk, and it will be pretty interesting to follow with all the player with this one.
Overall, what has been the goal for season 3 of Warzone?
Well, when we started talking about the journey of going back to Verdansk, it was really imperative that we needed to go back to our roots, not only in delivering just on a badass map, but also by returning to form of really what Warzone's Battle Royale really was.
So this is where they're going to get more into gameplay.
So we wanted Battle Royale to feel like Battle Royale did back in 2020, but we really wanted a simplified experience as well, while retaining a lot of the great enhancements to deliver the best Warzone experience possible.
Oh, fantastic. Steph and I were flying over the map on the way here.
We took the helicopter here. I don't know if you guys saw.
We chop it in. The budget for this episode was huge. And it's looking great. It really is, Etienne. Can you tell us about, what can you tell us about the new Verdansk?
Yeah, so basically we redone everything. So just like I mentioned, the building, the terrain, the lighting, it's really incredible how much detail we can push into the map, and you see all the experience of all the developer from all the studio that we've been in Verdansk and in Warzone for quite some time, already 5 years now. So you see the quality on just the visibility, even the audio side. You really feel that you're back at home, but in a
nothing about AI
say.
fish yet.
So it will be really interesting to just see where the player they will probably go to their favorite spot, and they will rediscover that great map.
So can we expect those POIs to look and feel the same way as they did? You know, are people going to recognize right where they are, know how to get around a building?
Yeah, totally. So
it's exactly
this
the
was
same.
The primary goal, just to make sure that we don't break anything, because we know that players love the map, they love the way it was done. So it just where we can push the quality and the visual fidelity.
There was a rumor about a year ago that when they brought back Verdansk, they were going to change it greatly, and I guess that disappeared. I have a feeling, though, in the coming seasons, they're going to make changes quick. I would be willing to bet like one every season at least.
And at the same time, if I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at my favorite UI, it's Superstore. So we're just making sure that all the different spots that you love, that you use to get a kill on the others, another squad team. So you can return to the same spot and have the same strategy. And at the same time, you will learn to love that map again, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of new player will be inside Verdansk for the first time, so it would be pretty interesting to follow.
Amazing. I mean, I know the first place that I'm dropping is the little fire station above Dam. Like Dam in general, big place for me, but specifically that little fire, I think it's a fire station up on top of the hill there.
Yeah,
special place in my heart.
Yeah, it's always depending. If you're looking for some adrenaline at the beginning of the game, you can choose some of the POI that are pretty exciting, like Superstore. But on my end, if I want to be more in control, I will go to
Midwest Dipper. Did they say something about Avalon, or did you just like pull that out that that's not going to come?
Or maybe even Boneyard. I really love the feeling of that POI. So that's a nice place.
Okay, so we know Etienne is hot dropping. Pete, where are you landing first time out?
Oh man, like Superstore is great, but I'm a little bit more risk adverse. So I probably, typically I'm used to drop at Quarry or Promenade West or even train station. I like those areas because you can get mixy if you really want to. There's a good amount of loot, good amount of cover. Contracts are always fun to do in those areas, and they have good rotation spots, depending where the circle's going.
Quick shout out to Farmland. I think it's underrated.
I had an incredible win at Farmland once. I had a precision airstrike that cut across like 2 squads at once. Yeah. Something that I know I'm dying to get my hands on are some of the new weapons that are coming in season 3. Pete, it's cool. We're going to get some of the...
We haven't heard anything about new game modes or returning game modes yet. Some people were asking about lockdown, things like that.
Original guns from Warzone's launch on Verdansk, and there's some definite fan favorites returning. Can you let us know what they are, sir?
Absolutely. The classic Verdansk experience wouldn't be the same without bringing back a few iconic weapons. So we're excited to say that for Season 3, we've rebuilt some of these awesome weapons from that classic era. The AMAX, the Kilo, the HDR are all coming back for Verdansk. It's great having these familiar guns back. If you recall, the AMAX had a little bit of a kick, but if you could control it, it's extremely lethal. The Kilo is a great all-around assault rifle. I love using the Kilo back in the day, but really my favorite weapon of that era was using the HDR. I'm happy to say that if you really can pull it off, you can knock somebody from like 500 meters plus away. That just feels so great.
It's back.
Yeah. And don't forget the Kali stick too. It was one of the weapons that was pretty iconic from Season 3, and I think they will be back, so a lot of players will be waiting for those. And I think we have some in the studios. On my side,
they haven't mentioned anything about the operators
yet. Always the Kilo. So I think it's one of the reasons that so many players decided to have a great time and great memory with that weapon. So we're bringing it back. And on my side, again, I'm a big sniper lover with the HDR, but I don't have the skill to get a shot to someone. So I always return to my Kilo to make sure that I have a chance to win.
Old Faithful. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Kilo later in the show, but something I remember really fondly, speaking of favorite weapons about Verdansk, was very clean iron sights. And I think, we all know and loved them in the...
So Black Ops 6 Season 3 starts on April 2nd. Black Ops 6 free trial for all players is live on April 2nd. Warzone will be offline from April 2nd till April 3rd. Anyone who opens Warzone during the downtime gets the kilo for free. Warzone goes live on April 3rd with Verdansk. Okay, that's kind of what we
original
already
experience, which means I have to talk about the Growl, which is coming to season 3, but in a different way, and that's as a conversion kit for the SWAT 5.56. So if you haven't played Warzone in a long time, we introduced conversion kits at MW3, and it's actually a firing mod that you're going to be able to equip that will change the performance of the SWAT to feel a lot like the original Growl. I'm Pete.
So it's not
What's
the
this been
Growl.
like in playtests? I know people are going to be curious.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Just because it's like a conversion on a gun doesn't mean it's any lesser of a gun. The Growl is back, and we are so happy to be playing with it in the play
I wonder
test. It's
why
been a
they
real
did
big
that.
hit in our internal play test. It's highly accurate. It's very familiar to how it performed back in its prime. And like you mentioned, like those iron sights are awesome. Very rad. You know, really, when we talked about bringing these weapons back, we wanted to pay homage, really wanted to make these returning weapons feel as good as possible. So we felt that, and we wanted to make sure that we really paid that off for our fans and players.
I can't wait.
Needle iron sight.
Cannot
so
wait for
much fun
Growl.
to use. Felt so great. Kilo 1 fan here.
The needle iron sight was actually an attachment on it, was it not?
Born and bred. But guys, let's talk a little bit about these weapons if we can, because we saw on social media floating on the weekend that floating loot is back.
Yes.
Thank you for the bits, by the way, Gully.
Well, you know, floating loot was something that our community wanted, and we really felt that.
Why did you get rid of it? What happened to it? Explain where it went.
We wanted to simplify the experience, right? And floating loot is a part of that. And it behaves just like it did back in 2020. So you'll see ground loot, be floating in the world. If you open up a crate, that will pop out and float. You take down an enemy. All their loot will be floating around for you to kind of go and hover over. So it's made the looting experience much more intuitive and just kind of much simpler. And we really think it's been playing well.
And the guitar riff is back. I understand.
Legendary crates, folks. We need to work on that a little bit, but
Definitely have to work on that.
Yeah, the legendary crates are back now. One thing about legendary crates, we really wanted to make these special. And so
I wonder if they're going to have red crates, though.
What we're doing is there's going to be less of them in the world than maybe what you'd experience in today's game, more reminiscent of the classic 2020 experience. But we've juiced up the loot in the legendary crates to really, really make them feel impactful and like make you feel special when you find one in the world.
Now, Pete, there are some updates coming to movement in season 3 of Warzone. What can players expect to feel?
Yeah, so when Verdansk returns, players are going to experience an updated movement system built just for Warzone.
Double tap is coming back,
How many
apparently?
movement isn't going away,
With this
right?
season?
So we do want to prioritize the Battle Royale experience, and we want to ensure that movement feels right in Warzone. So the bespoke changes and simplified movement is going to really improve upon the original experience.
And so we're getting a version of Omni movement that's been specifically tuned just for Warzone and maybe feels a little bit closer to the original movement.
Absolutely. We love the predictability in the combat scenarios with movement. We still want to give you all of the agency that Omni movement brings you, but the tuning, again, is going to be unique just for Warzone.
A single game of Warzone felt so particular, the way that how long the match went for, the pace of the game. I mean, what can you share with us around how it feels again?
Pacing is an incredibly important part of the Battle Royale experience. So in Season 3, we're working to deliver a simplified version of what is closer to the original experience. Risk versus reward is such a huge and important part of that experience. Your life, your actions, strategies, all should matter. Part of that comes from what tools you have at your disposal or what ways you can regain, including how you loot.
As you look to sort of, get back to the original experience, prioritize Battle Royale, simplify, what we're doing in Warzone, I have to ask, are any of the original contracts coming back as well?
Yes, all of the original contracts
vehicle updates.
So that
quality
means
of life.
A classic recon is back. And if you don't remember what that was, this is going to be replacing the Intel contract. And so what I loved about the recon contract was you still have a lot of player agency when setting off the recon point. So you go, just walk up to it, it fires off a flare, and then, alerting teams that like someone's setting something off, but you can move around and fight in that moment. The cool thing here is the more players, teammates you have here that are helping you take over that point, the faster that point is captured. We've made an enhancement this year to the classic version is now that when you're starting to capture the point, you're actually going to get to see a radius in the match to let you know where the area of influence is there.
So kind of like what we have seen with like capturing flags and stuff, they're going to show you the entire zone.
And the other one that is a classic contract is the supply run. And this was great because this awards a discounted item from the buy station.
Yeah.
So if you were in dire straits coming back from the
I forgot
you could
about
land
this.
on one of the contracts and
You
hop in a
used it
vehicle
all the time
and
to
head
buy people
towards a
back.
marked buy station, risking it all to kind of
Yeah, these
bring
are
back
good.
a teammate for free. It really was very, very cool. And all of the other classic contracts are there, like Scavenger, that's tuned the way the original one was. Bounty's there, and the Most Wanted is as well.
Awesome. So bespoke movement coming to Warzone. And Etienne, is this something that you guys were considering when making, updates to the map and how players traverse the new Verdansk as well?
Yeah, we make sure we play every day. So it's really important. And we play every day the live version of Warzone, and we play.
Wait, did they say that they have an unsolved Area 99 Easter egg icebergs at some point? Because I knew it.
Every
I have
day
a video
the
on
development version. So we just make sure that all the tweaks, all the decisions that been making is to make sure that you will have the most fun inside that map.
podcast.
And
I
even
told
if you're
you. No one
an old
believed me.
player, you will get a sense of, oh, this is Warzone, this is the experience that I want to play. And for newcomer, again, it will be a way to just making sure you will learn the mechanic of the game, and after that you will learn the POI to make sure you can understand and take advantage of the situation, and maybe you won a match. So again, a lot of iteration, a lot of effort to everyone in all the different teams, just to make sure we have the best version of Verdansk and Warzone for all of you in Season 3.
It sounds very cool. Sounds like a lot of work as well. Like a lot of balancing.
They've been busy.
Gosh,
They've been everybody's been working hard on this for a while.
It sounds great. Verdansk, obviously, a lot of my core memories around the game mode centered around vehicles, whether I was crashing helicopters in prison or, using ATVs. They're very important, very fun. I've heard there's some favorites coming back in Season 3. Can you share any information there?
Yeah, so listen, the classic BR experience had an art form towards rotating around the map. And so vehicles played such an important role in that. Now, one thing I want to clarify is we're removing redeploy balloons in Battle Royale.
So there it is.
So we
There's
can put
the
the strategy
acknowledgement.
back in traveling around the map and using vehicles or using movement, your player movement in an intelligent kind of way. And so
they're going to be more important than ever. Yeah.
Absolutely, right? And so the only way to make them as impactful as they needed to be was to completely rebalance the handling and like how damage worked to vehicles. So vehicle control and maneuverability is more like it was back in 2020. So there's been a lot of updates to like the weight simulation and the physics, which allows for like smoother turns and like better off-roading. It's a higher fidelity version of what you remember from the classic experience.
I wonder if it'll feel the
vehicles.
exact same.
And really, Verdansk wouldn't be Verdansk. I mean, you mentioned going to prison and all that stuff. You wouldn't be able to really have that moment without the classic helicopter, and it's coming back, right? And so it's not just the model that's coming back. Our aim was really to bring back the classic feeling of that helicopter. We really wanted to be reminiscent of like all the cool key moments that you could experience back then. I can't wait to see clips of like people swapping seats and like sniping somebody or, chopping somebody up with the blades or even like chucking the helicopter out to take out a squad.
And let it be known, I nearly did make it through the tunnel. I got right to the very end before the blades hit. I remember there was a period of time where if you didn't have a teammate with C4 or an RPG, you were in serious danger.
That was
serious danger.
I remember throwing the trophy in between the seats of the helicopter and just like thinking,
we're safe.
It might work.
It did work.
Sometimes it worked.
It did work.
Sometimes. But so that's so exciting. And Etienne, how did you guys think about vehicles in terms of placement on the new
Is it going to be the
Verdansk?
same places?
Yeah, so it was really important for us to just look at the spawn location from back then and making sure that we're going to use all the same spawn location
exactly
for
the same.
vehicle type. So if you look at the LE at downtown or cargo truck near the stadium, I was always the driver on my squad, so I was
Everyone
always
needs one.
looking. Yeah, I was looking because I'm not a good shooter, so I was the one driving the whole team. And I just remember so many great games that we are in the cargo truck and we just chase other team and we just try to ram them. But sometimes it doesn't work, but it was always a fun time. So again, we're just making sure like buy station, loot crate, everything. We're just looking back at spawn position from back then, making sure that we nail those. And after that, we just, like Pete mentioned, we just do some tweaking and ending, making sure that everyone has a.
What do you have after vehicles?
So excited.
Awesome. Well, this is going to be the most important part.
So excited.
Bertha's back.
Bertha's back. Now, okay, so we know patch notes for season 3. They're coming together and they are going to be meaty this season. But we've heard there's some really exciting quality of life changes that are coming as part of that to Warzone. Can you give us a little sneak peek of some of the quality of life updates
this is the interesting
that you're
part.
looking forward to?
I think that if you want to read all the different patch notes, you will need to take the whole night because there is a ton of. Yeah, it will be
a difficult video to
ton
make then.
of fun just to read those. So, but yeah, we need to make some choice. And for me, one of the quality of life improvement we have for season 3 is the opportunity to, when you're going to inspect a weapon, you will see the attachment that is present on the weapon. So many times I kill someone, I take his gun as a trophy, and I wanted to understand what is on that thing. And now it will be possible with just the weapon inspect mission. You will clearly see in URI what is present, and after that you can replicate that strategy on your own weapon. So that's something pretty cool. And just to give another example of a quality of life that will be present in season 3, we're going to give more information on the field upgrade that your own squad mate have. So it will be
It'll show you
a
down
great
in the corner.
strategic choice just to understand what you have in your team, and after that make the next move on your opponent. And I think, Pete, that you have other quality of life that you are waiting for.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm going to cheat and give you a couple here. So one thing that we're really excited about is we're updating it's kind of like a quality of life update, but it's really something to help either new players or kind of players that haven't played for a little bit of time. So we're updating our default loadouts to be able to include a very competitive kilo and HDR. So if you're new to the game or you don't want to level the weapon up, you're going to be able to, once you acquire your loadout, you're going to be able to kind of go right in and play with one of those 2 weapons and have a great time, see if that's the style of weapon you like. But the other kind of quality of life update that we're really excited about is,
default loadouts,
going to the buy station is really a risk, right? Especially
I hope they show the whole thing.
And the last thing you want to do in these critical moments is fumble around the UI when you're trying to buy something.
Yeah, so we know this vertical menu.
And so, first of all, we're reverting back to the vertical UI buy station, just like in the classic Verdansk days, because muscle memory is important. Buying your teammates, those are important too, right? And so what we've done is we've added a dedicated button just for buying your teammates back if they're dead, right? So let's just say you're playing in a quads, and your whole team is dead. If you have enough
one
cash,
button, you can buy everyone back.
You're going to be able to bring all 3 back. But let's say you only have enough money for 1 or 2 teammates. This quality of life is going to be able to bring back as many teammates as possible. We have way more quality of lives coming, but we're really putting the player experience at heart when we're
so this is when they're saying the patch notes are going to be
quality
huge.
of life changes. We always listen to feedback, and we're always going to evolve the experience.
Incredible. So updated buy station UI is vertical. We've got the redeploy all feature coming in the buy station, make it easier for you to buy your squad mates back. Very cool.
But if I don't want to buy the entire squad, but just buy 1 or 2 members of the squad back because someone might not be pulling their weight, that's possible too, right?
Absolutely. You can manually go over to the side without,
Very important.
Leave out whoever you want, just because.
Thank you very much, sir. That is extremely important information.
Wayne, thank you for the 4 months, brother.
He's not talking about me.
Nope. They know who they are, and they listen.
Well, there's so much information coming up
Patch
about
notes are next
Warzone,
week,
about
Midwest.
Season 3. We've got brand new COD blogs coming with all the intel,
When?
patch notes, so much more. I can't wait.
It's a lot. Pete, Etienne, what are you guys most excited for? I mean, obviously, you've been on this a lot more than most, but what are you most excited for in Season 3?
Yeah, I think that I'm just excited that we give back that map that everyone is waiting for. So we put so much energy and effort just to make it feel right, play right. So it will be really an interesting moment to see all the players coming back and having a great time in this Call of Duty Warzone experience. So the journey will continue.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love, right? We're just as excited to play on Verdansk in the live environment, just like everyone else is. And so really for us, for me at least, it's like I can't wait to see the reactions, the clips, all the fun moments, like, people trying to recreate those moments. We're going to do our best as a team to continue working on Call of Duty Warzone and making this a great journey for players to come. So this is just the beginning, and we're really excited to see where this goes from here.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here in the COD Pod, and we will see you in Verdansk.
Thank you. See you in Verdansk.
Okay, what do we got next? Breaking news. Okay, this is the big part. This is where they'll explain the
Miles, it's been an awesome day
thing.
hearing from all our developers, but there's a few things we haven't talked about yet, and that is Black Ops 6 multiplayer and zombies. And breaking news.
Actually,
we're going to drop Season 3 of Black Ops 6 one day early on April 2nd. And if you don't own Black Ops 6, don't worry, because we'll have a free trial for you to jump into during that time. Warzone is going to go offline for 24 hours in preparation for the launch of Verdansk on April 3rd. And anyone who opens the Warzone menu during that time will receive the Kilo weapon for free. So if you already have Warzone downloaded, just click on the tile once it goes offline to get the Kilo. But if you don't have Warzone downloaded, then make sure you do that. Then open the menu so you can get the Kilo too. And trust me, you are definitely going to want the Kilo for Season 3. So Miles, you know the drill.
Absolutely. Every
Classic
single
Kilo,
game I
dudes.
load up, everyone will be using the Kilo because you need to get it ranked up in time for Verdansk coming by.
It is
that's true.
very
That
fun.
gives you a day
It's
to
going to
level
be
it
a
up.
ton of fun. That's right. Time to level up that.
So does that mean, I would assume that means like the battle pass and everything like that goes live earlier as well?
Boy, and get everything ready for dropping into Verdansk on April 3rd. So yeah, pop a double XP, whatever you need to do, spend the time.
Get those attachments, you know?
Yeah, get it all ranked up, get it ready to go because everyone's going to use it.
Yeah, so that's the breaking news. That's still not everything.
Steph, it's that time in the show. The mailbag is back,
so is
and
there a
I've got some
way-
heaters for you. But
Let's see what-
Verdansk.
Is Call of Duty ranked play coming to Verdansk? Okay.
Yes. Ranked play is coming to Verdansk, but not at the launch of Season 3. It will arrive instead at Season 3 Reloaded, and that's because
I think
we
that's
want to make sure
solid.
that
I have no
people have a
problems with
chance
that.
to get used to the map again. If you're a returning player, great, but there's also new players playing Verdansk for the first time. Ranked play has never been on Verdansk. Back when in the original, it was not there. And so we want to make sure that the map is feeling great. People have their bearings. The developers can work to make any adjustments between the launch of 3 and Season 3 Reloaded. And then ranked play will arrive on Verdansk.
Next question, moving over to zombies. Hey, Treyarch.
There we go.
Are the amalgams going in the new map?
So, if you've been paying attention, you may have seen last week that Treyarch was putting out some fun social teases about the new map, which is Shattered Veil, arriving with Season 3. And someone said, hey, what about all those amalgams? We had them way back in Terminus. Are they coming to the new map? And Treyarch replied with a simple nope.
Awesome.
Period.
Done.
So I will also reply with a nope.
So probably
And
a new one then?
the zombies team at Treyarch, this is all because they pay very close attention to the feedback about all of the familiar types of special and elite enemies coming after players.
Wait, why are you saying that they're saying that Verdansk won't be a free-to-play map anymore?
Especially recently on the
Warzone's
Tomb.
always free.
And they've taken that to heart for Shattered Veil. So no amalgams. But you are going to see a preview of what is waiting for you in the mansion in tomorrow's gameplay trailer.
Okay, so tomorrow's the gameplay trailer for Zombies. Thank you for answering that.
So stay tuned.
How big is the next Zombies map going to be then?
This is a little bit of a don't believe everything you read on the internet moment.
What do you mean by that?
So we already talked about this one.
Staggering. Who would have thunk? But I have it on good authority from the team at Treyarch that Shattered Veil is in fact bigger than the Tomb and Liberty Falls. So think size-wise, more of a traditional round-based experience like Citadel. I think is a good size comparison for Shattered Veil.
Awesome. Very much fun size, but not fun size. Cool. Right on. I've got another Zombies question, got another one. Can we get some info on the next perk?
Oh, here's the one that I got sent by you guys.
You sure can, partner. Because we'll find out tomorrow.
So someone leaked that it's double tap root beer. So
I've got questions. I've got a lot, but I have another one. On to multiplayer. Why is the party games menu not in Black Ops 6 yet?
Could also be Tombstone or Meal Kick based off of that. It was a leaker that
I want
put it
my
out.
beloved sharpshooter back.
So good news now that Infected, Prop Hunt, and Gun Game are all in Black Ops 6. Season 3 sure sounds like the right
So it sounds like Zombies is coming tomorrow.
time to add a dedicated party games menu. So, and also the second part of that question, I'd say it's your lucky day tomorrow. Partner. Stay tuned.
Excellent.
Wait.
Next question.
Wait.
We've heard a lot.
Tomorrow
Maybe
sounds
it is the blog
like
tomorrow.
the right time to add a dedicated party games menu. So, and also the second part of that question, I'd say it's your lucky day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Partner. Stay tuned.
So tomorrow's blog
Next
post.
question. We've heard a lot about Ricochet updates coming to Season 3. Can you talk about them, Steph?
So Team Ricochet is preparing to drop a blog with all the information about Season 3 and what's coming. So stay tuned a little bit closer to launch and make sure you read the blog.
Last questions. Will there be updates to Verdansk in the future?
I can confirm that the studios and teams working on Warzone are committed to evolving the map with new content and updates in future seasons. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
Can he wait? Well, as always, folks,
So
we hope
in
you
other
share
words, there
questions
will
with
be
us on
changes
social
moving
media
forward, but-
using hashtag COD POD so we can talk about it on the next episode.
Send them in.
Yeah, make sure you're following the COD POD on all the places where you get your podcasts. And in this episode was a lot of information.
A lot of
It was
info.
a lot of info.
Yeah.
It was a good one. It was good. 150 operators have been seen in the skies above Verdansk. Their motives unknown. All they want to do is loot and kill. The weather is clear.
Personally, I just want to loot. Looters can't loot.
So I think I missed something somewhere because here, let me pull this up. Iceberg sent me this. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where did it go? How did I lose it? This, I think? Is this it?
I mean, funny you mentioned.
We're talking about Easter eggs and if there are any out there. What about Area 99?
I mean, funny you mentioned that because it's almost like if there were an Easter egg on Area 99, then no one's found it yet.
Yeah.
See, I was close.
If there were an Easter egg on Area 99,
to think
no
about.
one's found it yet. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, we're talking.
So I was right. I knew there was something there. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I mean, it speaks for itself. So that's it. That is the whole thing. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go hop into Area 99 right now and see if we can find anything. But like, what? When are we getting blogs? I am extremely confused as to when we are getting blogs because they said tomorrow we're getting multiplayer and zombies. Did they also say that we're getting Ricochet? And then patch notes next week, but the update's coming out on Wednesday, which means patch notes either have to be Monday or more likely Tuesday. And there also probably needs to be a blog for Black Cell and Battle Pass as well. So I don't know when we're getting all of this. Time will tell. We got like an hour till noon, and like 1 p.m. is like the latest things will come out today. So we'll stay tuned for that. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's just going to be tons tomorrow. I don't know why they didn't just spread it out this week, but